beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, we're here today to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. And just so you know, FYI, I am not doing Married to Medicine because it didn't get a whole lot of views and not a whole lot happened. So I don't really have a whole lot of opinions. It's like Contessa can fuck off and that's it. Yeah, so let's get started on this one. I do want to say welcome to all my new subbies. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you have not already, please consider subscribing. I would definitely love to have you. It's so free of charge and not a big deal to you, huge deal to me. So like the video, comment, all that helps with the analytics and I appreciate it. All right, let's get started, guys. All right, so we pick up exactly where we left off with Mia telling Gizelle, fuck you. And I like it. I'm going to allow it. And, her friend jumps in and she's like, yeah, sometimes when you're not feeling well or you're sick, things are unclear. And then we have Candace and Wendy walking up and they're like, what's going on here? What's happening? So Mia is explaining that, Gizelle has an issue with the post and Mia's like, what? I mean, not Mia. Wendy's like, what? Is it just Gizelle or Gizelle and Robin? And I'm like, it's always Gizelle and Robin. What do you mean? You already know. So Candace is like in the confessional saying, well, it's all about how you say it or whatever. And she's like, we didn't expect much from that Gizelle. And I died laughing at from that Gizelle. Okay. And so then we go back to the party and Karen is just like, listen, who are you to question her about her post? And then Robin, listen, don't come for Gizelle. Robin is like, hold up. We are not going to sit here and act like Gizelle and I were the only two in the world that had an issue. Ashley. And then we do a flashback of Ashley saying something. Candace, we do Candace. Then she says Karen. And I'm not going to lie, Karen didn't say it. Karen said, okay, so you guys have an issue with the way, and it was all strategic. Karen is not stupid. She's very strategic in the way she words her shit. She knows that it's going to come back on her. So she definitely rewords it and makes sure she throws some things in because Karen said, you guys have an issue with the way. And no, it's not how I would have done it. It's a little different. However, we need to hear her out or whatever. Like she definitely kept giving her the benefit of the doubt or shooting her some bail. And once, Mia looks at it, she'll see that Karen was giving her a little bit. So you guys, as they're talking, and what I meant by Karen giving her a little, it was just giving her a little bit of, benefit of the doubt. So maybe she won't be so upset with Karen. Because later on in the episode, her friend Jacqueline is going to kind of throw Karen under the bus. Like, oh, she was just trying to play on the fence, basically. Like she was, shit, she was. That's what I just said, right? So maybe she won't feel differently once she sees it. But her friend Jacqueline is talking and it's just weird. Wendy's like, I'm sorry, excuse me, who are you? And she's like, I'm Jacqueline. I'm her best friend. Oh, okay. I just didn't know who was talking. And then she kind of looks off and looks, Wendy, fuck out of here. What are you talking about? It's only your third season. You are not seasoned enough, ma'am, to turn into a rude girl. Or like you cannot be rude to these newcomers or whatever and haze them. You don't even have enough friends on the cast to do that. So what are you doing? Like everybody was looking at her like she was crazy, including me, because what are you trying to get out of the moment? Oh, no, I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to see who was speaking. And you could tell by the way her eyes just went all over. She was trying to have a moment. Wendy, listen, Miss Osefo. Stop it, because we are still, or at least I am, still on the fence with you, ma'am. So I'm going to need you to cut it out. Leave that girl alone. All right, so next we have, so basically the friend Jacqueline shuts them up. Robin is just like, oh, she left the post open, like she doesn't know, it's a cliffhanger. And her friend is like, well, she still doesn't know, it's still a cliffhanger. And she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, so they're past it. Then Charisse comes up, and I don't like the dress she has on. It's favoring whatever I guess it's Fendi. It's favoring what's her name? Karen has on. And they give each other a phony hug. And then Gizelle is like, oh, so what's happening here? Are you guys okay? And I'm like, this bitch didn't move from one thing to the next. Like, she's like, oh, we got something else. Y'all know, I don't know if y'all school used to do it, but in high school, like when people would fight, they would be in the hallway screaming, we got us one. So ignorant, right? And I feel like that's how Gizelle is. She's like, we got us one. Like, we got another fight over here. And so she quickly forgot about Mia and moved on to Karen and, what's her name? Sharice. And so Karen is like, listen, it's good to see Sharice, but she's not my favorite person. I didn't invite her because I was thinking, why would she have a problem with her if she invited her? Like, why is she there? And then Robin comes in the confessional looking like she got a centipede on her shoulder. That shit is terrible. Like, Robin, oh my God. Anyway, um, Robin is like, well, she said I can invite a plus one, but she didn't say who, so she's messy. Her and Gizelle, so messy. But, Karen still got an issue with her. Apparently, it's because she, in the reunion, said that Karen was sleeping with Green Eye. Was it Green Eyes, Blue Eyes? Somebody like that or whatever. Which, listen, if she's still mad, maybe she really was, because that was years ago. And it's like, you have made up with people who have said far more than just that. So maybe it was true and she was mad that she was putting it out there. All right, so at the party, we have a lot of little things happening. We have Katie coming in, and everybody's like, oh my God, it's Katie. She cut all her hair off. And Candace is in the confessional, like, I ain't seen this bitch since she went missing in the Caymans. And now she's here, green eyed with, bald head. What is going on? And, she runs to Karen. Karen is super happy to see her. We have Sharice walking up to Karen and telling her, listen, I miss you. I really would like to have a sit down with you. And Karen with her phony ass, really? Oh, okay. You know what? Okay, yeah. Y'all, that's me. I swear to God. People be like, and it's so sad because it's really just people. Well, I'm not talking about them, but people that just want to see you and hang out with you. And, people that like you and love you or whatever. And I'm just not that girl. Like, it has to be real big for me to want to hang out. Even though I love people, I could love these people and still just not want to hang out. So that's me all day. People inviting me and I'm like, okay, maybe. Like, I'm not the liar type. I don't be like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm the very blunt type. Like, nah, I just can't make it. Thanks for the invite though. Please keep inviting me, but I can't come. But yeah, so Karen is being phony, and I'm like, girl, just tell her the issue that you have and let's get it out the way. But that would be too much like right, in the words of my mama. So, still at the party, guys. We're still at the party. We have Ascala and Wendy looking at what's her name, Ashley and Candace talking about hooking up or whatever. And Wendy's like, oh, I'm just loving this. I just love this. Y'all, they don't let Ascala get a word in. Like, when they say they're done with her, they're done with her. She looks cute though, as usual, but yeah, they're not about her. So Candace tells Ashley that, or in the confessional, she says that she gets good vibes. She's like, I'm a vibey person. And basically, Candace's issue was she hates Michael. Wasn't that his name, Michael? And I am going to have to be with her on that. Like, I just didn't understand why he was still here for so many seasons after what he did and what he was caught doing, seen on camera doing. Like, why is this white privilege? Why was he still on this show? And she just could not stand him. And, Ashley kind of caught the brunt of that. But Ashley is kind of ain't shit too. So, we'll see. Like, Michael had nothing to do with her saying she would go ahead and write a statement for Monique. Like, that was all Ashley. So, but again, if they can work it out and get along, I ain't mad at it. So, and then we have Gizelle. Here we go. Stirring again. Hey, Katie, Ray said that you were his crush. And so we get the flashback of Ray saying that, Katie was the crush. She goes over there. Hey, Ray, guess what I got for you? Ray was super happy, y'all. Cheesing like crazy. And Katie's hugging him, rubbing his head, holding his butt. And I'm like, like, we not that cool. I'm not ever that cool with somebody that you can just touch all over my man's butt. I'm sorry. Even if he is like 95 years old. I don't care. Don't touch my man. But Karen took it all in stride. She came over. She's like, "Are you rubbing his head?" I'm like, "And his butt." And somebody told, I can't remember who, but they're like, "Yeah, she grabbed his butt or whatever." And she's like, "Yeah, and Ray, you just over here like, hit, hit, hit." And she tells him, "I'm gonna go give a speech. Be good." He's like, "It's hard though." And I'm like, "What's going on here?" Like, honestly, what is going on? He's literally telling her it's hard for him to be good. Are you kidding me? That, I mean, it's just a whole lot of leeway or either a whole lot of understanding in this marriage. But listen, it didn't blow up. They've been together forever, so I ain't mad at it. All right, so yay, can we wrap up the party? Wrapping up the party. She goes, she gives her speech. It's kind of off the wall, and she says the Grand Dame is back. And everybody is like, and it's so funny because I swear I was thinking it right before they said it. Where'd she go? Like, where's she been? She didn't, like, I can see if she took a season off or something. Like, I don't understand. And everybody's just like, where did she go? Like, what is she talking about? So, yeah, she did a lot, but it's okay. All right, so we get a scene with Karen where she is going to have an update or a consultation or a checkup on her augmentation, where she says she kind of took a little bit of the fat from underneath her arms, yada yada, put it there, lifted it up, and she's like, he's telling her everything's good, and she's like, I really didn't need any more confidence, but I just wanted to have it done, and I probably would want to talk to women and tell them, kind of don't get it done in your 20s. When I tell y'all they cut the camera so fast, because the nurse was looking like, what? What are you saying? This is what we do. Like, cut it out. But yeah, so we cut from that, and I guess that's going to be her storyline. I don't know. All right, so next we see Robin with her kids, nothing to see here. Wendy with her kids, nothing to see here. And Candace with her sister, who is currently living with them while her home is being built because her family is buying her a home. They found a nice little property, and I'm like, I ain't mad at it. She was living in an apartment. She walks in with a bag. She's like, "Guess what I have?" She starts clinking it. It's wine. She's like, Candace is like, "Is it wine o'clock?" And her sister's like, "Every day." And I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at it. Love me a nice little glass of wine. So I'm really not mad at it. But that's the last thing they need in that house because y'all, Chris, is that his name? Y'all know I'm terrible with names. But the husband be getting his drink on. I ain't mad at him. I'm not judging. Judgment free. But he does. Speaking of the wine, can we talk about the fact that she pours the wine and number one problem and she pours two different glasses. I don't like that. If you guys are having wine together, it should be in the same type of wine glass. I'm sorry. I just don't like that. Second, Candace is drinking out of the Camille from Cracker Barrel, Cracker Barrel, Lord, Crate Barrel. Yeah, it's called the Camille, and I know because I have it. It is not Shonda Rhimes. It was from damn it, what's the name of the show? Not How to Get Away with Murder. What was the first one with the I'm gonna have to cut this out because I honestly just cannot remember. Fuck. What was the name of the show? It was my shit. The one that came on with what's her name and it's handled and god damn it. Scandal, you guys, and I'm gonna leave that in. Sorry, because that's me. Like, listen, I can't remember nothing to save my life, so that's me. But Scandal, and I know because once I saw it on Scandal, I was like, oh my god, let me Google this, and it was the Camille. It was at Crate and Barrel, and yeah, so I've had plenty of them. However, they are very, very fragile, and anything will break them. So I have broken quite a few. My sister brought my first one, I think for Christmas or birthday or something. She bought my first ones, and I've bought many after that. But when I tell you that glass is everything, and I have definitely gone on a tangent about a glass, but if you go back and see it again, that glass is the shit, you guys. All right, you guys, we get a pretty long scene with Ashley and a play date, and it's a black lady, and I was happy to see that. Her kid looks exactly like her, and she knows all the business, so I guess they're friends for real, maybe not just, parents or whatever. because Ashley's telling her how she wants to give this party or this spa day, and she's like, "Oh, you're inviting all the girls, even Candace," and I'm like, "Oh, she knows the shit, like she knows everything." And Candace is like, Ashley's like, "Yeah, we're getting better," so that's it for that. She once again was telling the story of them looking for the place. However, Michael wants to stay there because he likes having the maintenance and not really doing anything. And I just don't understand. Like, I feel a little offended for real because I feel like Ashley is playing in our faces. However, many people would like for us to think that she's just playing Michael. I don't know because I feel like even if he helps her get this home and everything, if it's one that she keeps running around saying, "Oh, I can't really afford it," then why are you getting it? Because once things turn bad, and they will, as soon as you start dating somebody else and sleeping with somebody else and everything, like things are gonna eventually turn bad. It's just inevitable. I'm sorry. And maybe they'll turn good again where they can co-parent or whatever. So I'm not saying it'll be bad forever, but initially it's gonna go bad at some point. And what are you gonna do if you are in this place that you're saying you can't afford? But I mean, I feel like she can afford, like, maybe just get something within her means because she'll be able to afford something nice still. She has her Housewives of Potomac check. She will get something from Michael. She'll get maybe alimony, maybe do they call it that anymore? Or just spousal support. Spousal support. She'll get child support. Like, she's not gonna be broke. So Ashley can get some stuff. So I still don't understand or know if she is playing in our faces with this whole thing of them getting a divorce, if it's just a storyline. Like, I really kind of feel like it is. But we'll see. All right, so now we have Gizelle and Robin sitting down for lunch or whatever. And as soon as they sit down, Robin is like, "Listen, I got a bone to pick with you." And I'm like, "Yes, get her." Um, and of course, Gizelle is like, "Wow, what did I do?" And she told her, "You didn't have to tell my business. Like, you sitting up here telling people about Juan not being on the house or whatever, and it wasn't your place to tell it." And of course, Giselle is just like, "Oh my God, you're right." As soon as I said it, I was like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" I'm not buying that shit, you guys. Giselle is so full of shit. I just think she doesn't care. Like, she will come out with anybody's business just to have a scene, just to get a moment. And it's really terrible. And I also feel like since Robin is always up her ass, she feels like she can do and say whatever and then just come immediately with the, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, you're so right." Because the only person she cares about offending, or at least it seems as if she cares about offending and apologizes right away to, is Robin. And I'm going to tell you, it's a ploy. Okay, like, I had this guy I was talking to, and I was just like, I can do whatever the fuck, honestly, and I can just come the next day and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," or give him a sorry card, or just some shit, and I knew he would buy it, and that's that. And I just feel like that's what she's doing. She's treating her any kind of way, telling her business, and she does stuff to Robin, and anytime Robin brings it up, right away it's, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." But is she really? Because she keeps doing things. um and so anyway, we then talk about Mia, and Robin calls her out for her delivery. And I'm like, "Oh my God, Robin, are you gonna make me like you? Like, what are you doing here? Like, what's going on here?" She waits until whatever season this is to finally get a backbone and finally start speaking up to Gizelle. And I like it. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. But I don't wanna like it because I don't wanna like Robin. So with them talking about Mia, we come up with the fact that Gizelle is going to send a text, and she's like, "I don't want to be on the outs with Mia or upset with Mia." And I'm like, "Really?" And she's like, "I'm just gonna tell her, I'm sorry, my delivery was terrible, this and that or whatever. Let's get together and talk." Boom, she did it, and Robin is like, "Great." So then Robin starts to tell her about Ashley and the fact that they went out and she's looking for different, stuff for the house, and she wants to put a bid down on a house together with Michael and everything. And again, once again, Gizelle is just like, "I don't believe it, the whole divorce thing." Gizelle goes from one thing to another because after she started talking about Mia, she was like, "What else? What else can we talk about?" I'm like, ugh. All right, so while they're at the dinner or lunch or whatever it is, Robin tells her that, Ashley said something to her and she's like, girl, I gotta tell you something. Like it was something really, major. And she's like, Chris DM'd me at like 2:20 something in the morning. And then we see a flashback of her letting her know and Robin saying, okay, he was just like, oh, you should have came to the W. And Robin's like, okay, if he would have sent it to me, it's not a big deal. Like, basically, he was replying to your story. And of course, it goes into the DM. So it's not like he was sliding into the DMs. He was responding to your story. And I'm just like, dang it, Robin is really trying to get me to like her. Because why are they stupid? Like, why are they making something out of nothing? And Robin is just talking to them like, why are y'all stupid? And I've never seen her be so level headed. Okay, so Gizelle says that Chris slides into her DMs all the time. And Robin is just like, I don't understand why you guys are making it seem like he is overstepping a boundary. You guys are cultivating a relationship. He's been around for years or whatever. He's our friend. Like you've been to his house. He's cooked for you. So, if he says something, and once again, I feel like he's not sliding into her DMs because she's a dummy. He is responding to her story and it's showing up in her DMs. Y'all know Gizelle ain't got a lick of sense. She really don't. But I just love the fact that Robin is like, "What are you saying?" And she's like, "Well, you know what happened at the reunion." And then we see a flashback of her on the phone and he's talking to what's her name, Candace, and he's telling her that he's not happy with the line of question or whatever. And of course she's listening, so she's just like, you mad? And I'm like, that's none of your bit. Like, they're not even talking to you. They're not even talking to you. And he's like, we'll talk about it later. So apparently he waits for her and wants to have a conversation in her room. And she's like, okay, fine, because I thought my glam was going to be there. And she's like, so when I get there and the glam's not there, she's uncomfortable. And Robin rolls her eyes. And I'm like, girl, I am with you. Gizelle, what are you getting at? Like, are you kidding me? And she's like, oh, he's talking about Candace and this and that. And I'm like, well, if he's talking about his wife, he is obviously not trying to talk to you. So again, what are you talking about? And in the confessional, Robin is just like, he didn't touch her. He didn't say anything out the way. So I don't understand what's going on here. And I'm like, girl, when did you wake up? Like, honestly, y'all, I am dumbfounded on when Robin woke up. And I'm hoping and praying she don't revert back to the old Robin. Because I am loving this new level-headed, common sense type Robin that is like, Gizelle, no, you are full of crap. I like it, even though she ain't say it, but she's saying it to us in the confessional. Yeah, it's so funny because Giselle is talking about how she told Robin, "Yeah, I told you what happened or whatever, and that I was uncomfortable." And you was like, "Oh, it's nothing," and she made her voice go real deep. And I was like, "Is that how Robin sounds?" And yes, it is. It is. But she's calling him a sneaky link and everything, talking about how uncomfortable she was. She's ridiculous. She is absolutely ridiculous. And you literally just saw him at Karen's party, and you were the one that kept initiating conversation with him. So how uncomfortable were you really? Like, if y'all go back and look at it, Gizelle kept, even when they first came in, Gizelle kept talking to him. When they were at the bar and he was walking away or whatever, Gizelle was talking to him. How uncomfortable were you really? Honestly. All right, so we have Mia and her best friend NG going out to eat, and this is kind of where she throws Karen under the bus, and I'm just not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it, you guys. But it's also where Mia is talking about opening a joint clinic or whatever in DC, and she's very excited, and it's very weird to see all of this, especially knowing what's playing out right now, that the family has kicked them out and she's no longer involved. So I would love for that to have been part of her storyline this year. Like, I want to know what's going on with that. What's happening with that? But that's not what we talking about. We talking about Karen and the fact that she, is kind of on the fence and saying things to, defend herself. And okay, fine. So we'll move on. All right, next up is Ashley sitting down with Candace, and she ends up telling her what happened in the DM or whatever. And Candace is like, "What were you thinking? What did you think was happening here? He works there, and he's trying to, up the clientele and get my friends to come, and people that are known and celebrities and things like that." She didn't say that, but that's what she meant. She was just like, "Oh, he wants my friends to come and stuff." So yeah, they're celebrities, they're known, so that's what he wanted, and that's fine. But Ashley is just like, "Well, I thought maybe he thought my homegirl was cute or something." But the bottom line is, I just didn't want you to eventually at some point go through his DMs and be like, "What is this?" So I wanted to say something. And, Candace was appreciative. And she's like, "If anything happens, I would tell you. So if you did think it was something, I'm glad you told me." And then we get a flashback of when Candace was telling what Michael said, what her friend said, that Michael, was sending DMs and messages and things about hooking up with women. So she was appreciative of that, and they squashed it and everything's good. And I can understand Ashley's point. Ashley had a good point because that is how I do as well. Like, I have been friends with people that I'm friends with, like women, and I knew one of my friends, I know her husband through her, but I still know him, and he ended up friending me on Facebook or whatever. And I went in the DMs, I went in the inbox, and I'm like, "Listen, your ex is trying to, friend me or whatever. How do you feel about that? Because it's totally up to you." And she's like, "Oh yeah, we're good. I don't care. You guys know each other. That's fine." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So I took them, and it was not a big deal. I also had a guy inboxed me before, and he was literally just asking a regular question, and I know and liked his girlfriend more. So I ended up inboxing her and being like, "Yo, let me give you the answer to what your boyfriend is asking in the inbox. It's totally innocent, but I don't want you to eventually, because you have to think about that. I don't want you to eventually go in the inbox and see me in there and be like, 'Damn, what you doing?'" And I tell that to my best friend all the time because she has exes that come. She's married, happily married. She has exes that will come into her inbox saying things or whatever. And I'm just like, you have to, just, you're not interested. You don't care. And she's nice. So she wants to respond as opposed to just leaving them on red. And I'm like, "Okay, so go ahead and respond, but just respond as if your husband is looking, because you just never know. At some point, he may." And that's how I feel all people in relationships should be in the inbox. Like, don't say anything out of line. Don't say anything that somebody that you're with can look at and think something is going on. So, anyway, God, once again, a tangent. So, this is probably going to be a long review because we're not even, oh, we're over halfway there. But yeah, they squashed it. So, good for them. All right, so now we're at the spa day, and we find out that Karen's not coming because she has a temperature or fever of 102, and Gizelle is like, she called BS because she just feels like she is avoiding Charisse because Charisse has something on her. Whatever. Charisse comes in as Ashley is talking to Giselle about the fact that she has an issue with the way she came at her. Like, "Listen, I just felt like you were kind of accusatory, where you just like, I feel like you're lying to me about this divorce." And Giselle goes into this whole thing of, "Oh, I take divorce very seriously, and I feel like you were playing with." And I'm like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, honestly, who are you? Are you the divorce police? Like, are you just like, 'Oh my God, you better be taking it seriously. This better be real'?" Like, Giselle has so much nerve. Who is she? And the way she's talking, like, so entitled to this girl's business. And she's telling her nobody buys a house with somebody that they're divorcing. So Ashley is just, she's like, "Are you guys back together?" And she's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, Ashley's like, "Listen, didn't you reconcile with your man or what?" Well, 15 years later, but still. And she's like, "Well, you can't put a time limit on affection and, feelings basically." And I'm just like, "Giselle, are you kidding me?" And Giselle's like, "Well, the whole thing was just stupid, y'all." It really was. Like, I can't even find words because it was stupid. Giselle is mad at this girl for, I could see if you just be like, "You playing in our faces. Like, you are definitely just not getting a divorce. Let's not talk about it." Or you just take whatever she says with a grain of salt and you just be like, "Okay, girl." But for you to get so bent out of shape when it's really not your business, it's unreal. All right, y'all. I'm at 30 minutes. So let me wrap it up. So the girls are there doing the dance, and Robin looks a hot ass mess, y'all. She really looks manly. She looks like Joanna Man trying to dance. She looks like a man trying to dance like a woman, like she's struggling so bad. But the problem is they all are. Like there's not one of them that's really doing well. I think Candace may have been okay, but none of them are great. And of course, Ashley is gyrating all over the floor like she really thinks she got it going on because she be doing TikTok. But no, ma'am. I'm sorry, no, ma'am. None of them did a great job. What's her name? Mia comes in. Wendy comes in. Y'all, they not getting a whole lot of camera time. They really not. So after everybody leaves, Gizelle has a conversation with Candace, and she tells her the whole thing of her and Chris. And Candace is like, "What are you saying? Like, what are you saying? That he made you feel uncomfortable? That yes, 100%, 100%." And it's crazy because Candace figured it out. Like immediately, it clicked to her, and the fourth wall gone. She was just like, "Oh, I see what you want. No, this is not about to be your storyline. You're not about to fucking play with my marriage for your storyline." So she jumps up and she's like, "Oh, this is what we doing? This what you finna do?" And cause she literally looks in the camera. Like I felt like I was watching The Office or something. Cause she looks in the camera like, "Oh, for real? Like this where we going with it?" And she's like, "Nah, like she's not gonna play with Gizelle and her marriage and the whole thing because Candace knows this is what she does. This is what Gizelle does. She goes after all these women. She goes after their marriages because she has zero storyline, and that can be the conflict. And it's like you are literally making something up. I would love to have been a fly on the wall when Candace said something to Chris about the whole thing because even if they show it on TV or whatever, that's not the first of it for real. Like her actually really having a conversation with him about the fact that this broad is saying that you was trying to talk to her. Like initially, I would love to see it. I would love to see it because I know he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like seriously." But Candace is hollering for somebody named Eric, and I just assumed it was a producer, and it was. And she comes to they go into a bathroom or whatever, and Ashley overhears her because she's yelling, and she's like, "Listen, if you want to go after somebody or whatever, go after Michael, the grabbing ass person that we've seen do something," and all this stuff, which I agree with her. But she's like, "You're not about to go after my man. You're not about to go after my marriage. You're not about to go after my husband. This is not about to be a thing." And of course, what she meant is, this is not about to be a storyline. Let it go. So we'll see what happens from there. But I mean, from previews, we can already see that she's done with Gizelle. And I don't blame her because this is shitty what Gizelle is doing. And I really feel like she was blindsided. You could tell she was completely blindsided by the whole thing. And yeah, Gizelle is foul. She really needs to go. So many people are just like, "Oh, you got to keep her. She's producing. She's the one that brings it." But it's all manufactured. Like it's made up shit that she comes out with. So how cool is that to watch? Really? How good is that? Like how entertained are we really by Gizelle making up shit and just bringing something to it? Like, okay. That's it though, you guys. If you have a comment, please make it. Let's talk about it. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Let's keep it cute. Let's talk about it. If you agree with me, let me know. But if you have not already, please consider subscribing. Once again, it is totally free of charge. Like the video. It really helps with my analytics. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you are here already or still, you are the real MVP. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.